Let's start with some international news first, where Venezuela's central bank has now begun selling savings certificates in gold from Monday, and this is aimed at improving public revenues and also to stimulate savings. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and First Lady Celia Flores bought the first two certificates. The first one was backed by 1.5 grams of gold, and the second one was backed by 2.5 grams at $38.63 per gram. The cost of 1.5 gram certificate is equivalent to double the monthly minimum wage. Meanwhile, Venezuelan vice president has called the mass exodus of Venezuelans to neighboring countries as nothing but a normal migration flow. Speaking at a press conference in Caracas, Delcy Rodriguez said, and I quote, "We're not going to allow isolated actions by government employees because they have tried to convert normal migration flow into a bit of a humanitarian crisis to justify international intervention into Venezuela." Rodriguez also added that her government has sent about 40 diplomatic notes to the Lima countries requesting official figures on Venezuelan migration, but they have not received any response so far. The 38 Yemeni rebels were killed and 26 others were wounded in airstrikes by the Saudi-led coalition in Hodeidah on Monday. According to sources, the coalition has targeted Houthi sites, including a roundabout in the south that leads to the center of the Hodeidah city and near a naval academy. 4 military vehicles belonging to the rebel groups were also targeted near Hodeidah airport. Now, the Hodeidah port serves as an entry point for about 70% of the imports of the country, and also that latest raids have come just days before the peace talks in Geneva between the internationally recognized government of Yemen and the Shiite Houthi rebels linked to Iran. Meanwhile, protests against Yemen's weakening currency have spread to new parts on Monday. Demonstrators burned tires in southern Yemen in order to cut roads in Aden's Sheikh Othman districts. Dozens of demonstrators also marched and closed markets in the Hadramaut Lahaj and Abyan province. Now, the protesters took to the street despite the government's orders at strengthening the local currency and reversing economic decline. The Yemeni rial has lost more than half its value against the US dollar since the start of the civil war in 2015. The Israeli forces claim that they've shot a man on Monday for brandishing a knife near an Israeli settlement. Authorities have said that the incident took place near Hebron in the occupied West Bank. The military statement has read that a Palestinian assailant had approached an Israeli Defense Force checkpoint near Kiryat Abra in the east of Hebron with a drawn knife in his hand. In response, the IDF troops, they claim, they fired towards him and the assailant was shot dead. However, this claim has been refuted by some Palestinians who claim that the man was shot by an Israeli settler who suddenly stopped his car and then fired at him. Hundreds of Costa Ricans took to the streets of San Jose on Monday to protest the arrival of Nicaraguan refugees. The demonstrators claimed that the refugees were taking away their rights and also their jobs. They claim that there's been a rise in the number of crimes since the arrival of the refugees, and according to the Costa Rican government, about 100 to 150 Nicaraguans are crossing the border between Costa Rica and Nicaragua every single day. San Jose has also sought international help to deal with the influx. Remember, Nicaragua is battling months of violent anti-government unrest. Thousands of people flocked to an anti-racism concert in Chemnitz on Monday. The event aimed at drown out far-right protests and also violence in the eastern German city. According to authorities, over 50,000 people came out to challenge the neo-Nazi wave under the banner of "Wir sind mehr" or "There are more of us." Now, the crowd even observed a minute's silence for the German-Cuban victim who was killed in a fatal stabbing incident more than a week ago. And this comes after the German Chancellor on Monday had urged the country to mobilize against hate. US President Donald Trump on Monday has warned Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and his allies Iran and Russia against attacking Idlib recklessly. Trump has said that thousands of people could be killed in case of an attack on Syria's rebel-held province. He said, and I quote, "The Russians and the Iranians will be making a grave humanitarian mistake to take part in this potential human tragedy. Hundreds of thousands of people could be killed. Don't let that happen," unquote. Now, earlier on Monday, Iran said that militants needed to be cleaned out of Idlib. In the United States, the southeastern state of Louisiana is bracing for tropical storm Gordon. According to the weather department, the storm might make a landfall near the border between Louisiana and Mississippi late on Tuesday. The storm is expected to drop as much as 8 inches of rain in some areas of southern United States. And Monday, Gordon had generated winds of well over 50 miles per hour as it steamed west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. According to the National Hurricane Center, Gordon is expected to strengthen over the Gulf of Mexico to nearly hurricane-level winds before making a landfall late on Tuesday. Just a day after Rio de Janeiro's museum tragedy, a family has shared memories from their museum visit in February 2017. In the clip, 5-year-old Arthur Tavares Joachim can be heard passionately describing the dinosaur's remains. Arthur's mother said that she was sharing the video because it made her really happy to see her son's excitement during the museum visit, and she wanted to share this feeling with others as well. She further added that her children were shattered. The Brazilian authorities have in fact begun their investigations into the cause of the massive museum fire. The country's culture minister Sergio Liato has said that the blaze was likely caused either by an electric short circuit or a homemade paper hot air balloon that may have landed on the roof. Meanwhile, the country's education minister Roseli Suarez has said that the government will spend an initial $3.6 billion in 2 installments to restore the structure and rebuild its collection. He's also added that Brazil was already in discussions with UNESCO about the same. Outgoing Mexican President Enrique Pena Nieto on Monday has said that he is optimistic that his country will reach a trilateral deal on NAFTA with United States and Canada. He said that it's a complex scenario, but Mexico continues to promote a trilateral agreement as the country is in fact pretty convinced of the importance of Canada's role in the commercial deal. He's also added that North America is more successful when it stays united, with each country contributing its strength to make the world's most attractive economic region. Thousands of cocoa farmers took to the streets of the Bolivian capital La Paz on Monday to protest against President Evo Morales. The farmers blamed the president for a violent crackdown on illegal cocoa plants and for the death of 2 of the cocoa farmers who died during clashes with the police. The cocoa farmers in the Yungas region were angered when the government passed a law last year redefining areas for legal cocoa. Now, they said that the new law in fact favors cocoa growers in El Chapare region at the expense of the farmers who want to grow it in Bolivia. Greek ships remain docked at the country's various ports on Monday as officials continue their strike to demand the restoration of wages and labour rights. The 48-hour strike was organised by Greece's Seamen Federation, which said that negotiations with the sector's employees over an increase in wages did not bear fruit. Now, the Greek government has pledged to reverse labour reforms and increase the minimum wage after 8 years of austerity. And the seamen now want an increase in their wages in order to make up for years of pay cuts. India will be taking part in a tsunami mock drill along with 23 other countries. The two-day drill will start today. It will involve evacuation of thousands of people from coastal areas in over half a dozen states. Now, the exercise is being organized by UNESCO's Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, and it is being called as the IO Wave 18. Now, the purpose of the exercise is to increase tsunami preparedness, evaluate response capabilities in each state, and improve coordination throughout the coastal region. The 12 people have died of leptospirosis in India's southern state of Kerala between the 1st of August and the 3rd of September. According to authorities, as many as 372 confirmed cases have been reported from the flooded state since the 1st of August. The leptospirosis is a bacterial disease that affects both humans and animals and infects humans if they were to come into direct contact with the urine of the infected animals of urine-contaminated environment. In some of the early symptoms of the disease, which includes high fever, muscle pain, headache, redness of the eye, vomiting, etc.